So my name is Kaarle Kulvik, and I'm going to talk about off-grid LLMs. So you basically know it's local LLMs, but if you're on the airplane and you have an error, you're running Ruby code, oh my gosh, it's an error. What do? You can't connect to the cloud, but you do have cloud code. So you can run local LLMs on it, of course. So we see here that I'm running Gemma 4, which quite nicely actually can get the error. And what my talk is about is really that it's very easy to set up. You can download all the models, they are available if you haven't done it already. And you're going somewhere where you can't access an LLM, so you should do it. But make sure that your laptop has a lot of RAM. And check out different models. They can spew out all kinds of weird stuff, like Quen started doing Chinese on my scripts and all of that kind of stuff. And you can add more context if you have more RAM and more powerful laptop. And what are the benefits of running off-grid? Well, if the prices start hiking the token prices, then this is a good way to lower your costs. And you have no token limits, of course. If you need more power, get a GPU, like your local game machine. You can use that also for it and connect to that. And I ran a scripting test on our code base and ran 3,000 Ruby files over the weekend. Found 5 bugs that we didn't previously find. A bunch of dead code. Also a lot of Chinese comments the Quen left for us. Yeah, that was my lightning talk. And this is the test, sort of looks like. I printed out just files and what kind of errors we found.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from lunch. I'm going to talk about photographing a solar eclipse. So the year is 2004. It was April 2004. We learned that there was an eclipse in the US. And this is the path of the eclipse. And luckily, my wife comes from here. So it was really close. We said, OK, let's do it. It was on our bucket list. So off to the US we go. But think about solar eclipses. They're really tough to take a picture of. So there's some challenges. The first thing is that the totality, the part where it's completely dark, is this only 3 minutes. So you'll have 3 minutes to take all the pictures you're going to take, and it's gone for not forever, but like until the next one. Second thing is the light difference. So there's a huge, what we call in photography, dynamic range between the lightest part and the darkest part of the eclipse. So if you look at this here, the lightest part is really close to the sun, and the darkest part is a bit far. So if you want details in all the places, you have to take many pictures with different settings that allow you to capture all the details. So in photography, you use a technique called bracketing, which is that you change the settings while keeping the same angle so that you can capture different levels of details. And because it's 3 minutes, you don't have time to do anything, like fiddle in any settings or anything on your camera. So you have to prepare. People have made charts of this, so you have to go read this, and you see that for a certain camera, for a certain sensitivity, a certain aperture, you get these settings are gonna get you the details. You can see here on the left side which kind of details you can see with which settings. And I'm not gonna have a chart like this where this is 3 minutes. So either I had 2 choices. I had either I don't take a picture and I just look for pictures, or I try to make something take pictures without me being there. So yeah, how can we automate this? You can connect your camera with USB-C to your laptop. There's a library called Gphoto that has bindings to the camera that can talk to hardware. Someone, I don't know who, but I'm very thankful to them. They made Gphoto bindings to Ruby, so I can run some. Is it him? Oh my God, I love him. Yeah, so you can write something like this, where you have different speeds. It's the first variable. And then for each speed, you can say, okay, I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to do all of this 4 times. It's very, very Ruby, very like DSL-like. You go, I set up my camera like this. Run the script about, like, I put a timer, so like 2 minutes before totality because everything is timed. And then I just left it and I went to enjoy the eclipse with my family. And then I came back and I prayed really hard that nothing happened. I was like, just thoughts and prayers. So yeah, I got all the pictures. I put them on Lightroom. It looks like this. So yeah, everything worked as expected. And then I could capture like a lot of details. I got some pictures here. So this one with like some clouds. And then I see like the 2 extremes where on the left you see that like the very dark details where even like you see like, they're not called solar flares, but I call them like this, like the red parts. And on the right you can see all the details of the corona, or they call the corona. Like, so yeah, thank you Ruby, thank you Gphoto, thank you Aaron Patterson, thank you. I have two more things, sorry. One, eclipses are awesome. They're like one of the like natural phenomena that you cannot, like, if you look at the picture, it's not the same as being like it's really special. There's a one in Spain in August this year. If you have time to go, please go. And the second thing is that in the Ruby community, we need a lot of junior developers. We're like all like seniors here, or mostly seniors. If anyone is hiring junior developers in Paris, please tell me. I have a sister that's looking for a job. Thank you.
First of all, I wanted to be honest with you. I'm not a Ruby developer, but I am a backend developer. One day, I was speaking with a friend, and he has a problem, and I had 0 problem. My friend's problem was simple. He wanted to migrate his project to a cloud on AWS. Now we have one problem to solve. As first point, I decided to analyze the situation and extract the different components in his project. After the first analysis, I found 3 main components: the function, a website, and a database. So I create a new infrastructure on AWS with the relative component. I used AWS S3 for the static website, for example, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, etc., image. A CDN as AWS CloudFront for the static component to increase the speed of the website. And for the backend, we created 2 Lambda functions in Ruby. And in this way, the project could use a database for a dynamic request. All data was stored in AWS DynamoDB, and in this way, the full project can change data directly without rebuild anything or use a particular request. A good point of this architecture is the use of CloudFront, because the CDN increases the speed of the website in a different region across the world, and you don't have any problem for the final user. The main actor of the full project was Terraform, because I don't want to solve the project only once time for my friend, but I wanted to create a solution with Terraform, and in this way he could be able to reproduce the same solution in multiple opportunity, and I don't want to create a problem to him if he wanted to use this solution for another customer. Stop.
I'm Josua. I work for Renuo, and I'm a software engineer since more than 10 years, and I'm turning 40 soon. That's a disaster, because the last year was really hard on me. I've started feeling depressed more and more since 2023 because of all the LLMs producing code way more faster than me, and I like to take control over what I do. At least I call myself engineer. Now people are calling themselves prompt engineers, and I think they're just writing. Yeah, and I've started getting depressed, and I want to tell you how I overcame this. Yeah, and that's what I call the beer parable. It's not about drinking beer, but it's about brewing beer. Because I, in my free time, brew craft beer, my own. And yeah, we as a IT industry, I think we are starting to grow up. We start realizing that we need to have control over our processes, like the other industries already do. I mean, mechanical engineering, they built steam engines since 200 years maybe, when they started filling around. Don't know how they did it, but we consider them now to be mechanical engineering. They're real engineering. And we are kind like software fiddlers, software dicers. We ask the genie what it should bring us. And well, maybe we need to change this now. So, and why beer? Because I think the beer industry is even a better model than the mechanical engineering industry. Because the beer industry was always controlling natural processes. It's yeast fermenting, or it's enzymes working on long starch chains and splitting them up into fermentable sugars, so that the yeast can, under controllable environment, produce beer at the end. And well, this needed the first load on a train, for example, in Germany was beer, because infrastructure for transporting beer is very important, considerably more important than, for example, for wine or for distilled liquors or so, because it doesn't cost much. There is a lot of it, and you have to transport it somewhere. Or the cooling machine also is a primer for beer production, because you could now produce every beer everywhere. So what happened is that beer companies became very big, very industrialized, very automated, and you end up with Heineken or so, which probably is, well, it's Heineken. It's still a beer. It gets a job done, right? And I think we are standing in front of the similar questions with producing code. Does it just work, or do I have joy when doing it? And for me, the parable to my craft beer producing, where I produce 64 million times less than Heineken does in a year. I produce about 400 liters or so on my 20 liters manual bucket. But I feel joy while doing it. And instead of just going to the corner and grabbing a beer to get a job done, I have to sit down. And for example, I have one beer today in a wood barrel, which will be drinkable in 3 years. So I didn't just go to the corner and buy something like that. And this is why I would like to transfer it to code, and I find it easy. Well, it might not matter to the one who wants to get the job done, but it still matters to me that I can write nice code, and especially in the Ruby community, this is very important to us. And Paolo this morning showed it perfectly. It matters a lot, at least to me, how nice the Ruby code is written.
Friends, I have a confession to make. I made a rookie mistake. I started coding with PHP. I know, the horror, shame on me. But learning to swim in this very primordial soup was quite instructive, because it taught me how life can be miserable out there. Positional arguments, missing semicolons, absolutely no object orientation, global variables, and, well, you end up with spaghetti code everywhere. It's a wonder anything serious could ever be achieved in such a shoddy language. Well, Facebook? Anyone? But rookie me was yearning for something grander. So I picked up the pickaxe, found a mentor, learned Ruby, and I was enlightened. Battle-tested gems, code generators, security testing, best practice, code coverage above 0, a vibrant and welcoming community. I could not be happier. Or could I? Despite -1, Mats is nice, so we are nice, I still found dissent. Bike shedding, tabs versus spaces, Minitest versus RSpec, flame wars, capitalism versus cooperation. Oh, some gems have blood on their edges. So I was looking for a religious epiphany. First, I tried to convert to PDF, as many of you have done, but it was too binary. Then I tried to convert to Markdown, which had a lot more flavor, but it's being taken over by the agents, so. Well, that's when I found Pastafarians. What's not to be loved? Every Friday is a holiday, so no more risky deploys on Fridays. You don't have to believe in the flying spaghetti monster you can see on screen, because it believes in you, and that's enough. You can talk like a pirate every day. And, well, we have humane core values like openness and happiness, which kind of relate to Ruby values. Because we've all seen what happens when AI agents drift, but what happens when community leaders' views change. -1 has served us well so far, but benevolent dictators for life are a single point of failure. So, well, my time is running out, but before I leave the stage, I have a dream that you join me and millions of Pastafarians and confront racism, ableism, and bigotry every time it shows up. Happiness should not be limited to developers, Ruby developers in particular, especially in the age of AI. We need to grow a spine. As more and more areas of our lives is shaped by software, it becomes our responsibility as developers to focus on inclusivity, accessibility, and privacy by default. Ramen.
When I woke up this morning, I didn't know I would be there, so yeah, there's that. For those of you who don't know me, I used to be a stained glass maker, and I started working stained glass like 20 years ago. But first, let me just tell you how I pitch my professional background when I'm interviewing for jobs. So here's how it starts. I've had a pretty straightforward career. I started working like as an apprentice in a stained glass workshop. Then, and like 4 years later, I quit my job to learn museology and manage museums. And then I started working in museums and art galleries. 4 years later, I was building a simple HTML page for a gallery in London. And this is where I realized I liked working on the internet more than I like working with artists. Then I managed to land a job in a tech startup. They had like very techy products, but they didn't know how to explain it to non-techy people. However, near the end of my stint there, I realized I was spending more time with the technical team than the marketing one. I was badgering people to help me write JavaScript and just stuff to clean data. So I decided to join a coding bootcamp and learn how to code. 3 weeks in, I knew I would never go back. I was hooked, and I found my magic. And I got my first job right after the bootcamp, and the rest is history. I am quite proud of the story because I can tell it under 2 minutes in French, that is. And it's a perfect pitch for interviews. All the facts are true, the linearity is not so much. So, like 20 years ago, while some of you were like writing compilers for fun, I was just assembling like pretty pieces of glass to make like beautiful lights in churches. And it's taking me years to accept that coding might be a good choice for me. I never had a love for computers, and I did not fit the archetype of the real developer. So it was hard for me to picture myself as one. And how did I move from junior dev to what I am today? And that's the community. That is all the people who, when I started out, just gave me a hand and helped me, just like by reading my shitty code, and help me fix it and help me learn. In the recent months, the nature of our job landscape has changed a lot with AI, and and with that, the way we teach the next generation of developers changed as well. So we have companies like slashing jobs and tech CEOs touting the increased productivity of their most senior members, harnessing AI. And recently, I watched like a video by the pragmatic engineer asking DHH what he thought about the rise of AI meant for junior developers. And that's probably the first time ever that DHH didn't have anything to say about something. I think what I just want to say, what I want to convey is like, a community is just not an abstract notion, it's just like all of us. And so how can we, each of us, help the new generation to learn and to become like senior developers who will gather at conferences and exchange anecdotes about production failing on a Wednesday or anything like that. So here are a few of my thoughts. If you're a company, you can, even if you believe that AI will eventually replace all those space key developers, you can hedge your bet and try to, help one person invest in someone just to, have a future senior someone. You can sponsor a conference, like some of the company did today. If you're an individual, you can share what you learn, either in person, or you can write a blog post. That helps almost always someone. You can help your local meetup. And if you're a senior developer, you can make or break an emerging career with how you convey feedback and how you help or decide not to help someone. I just want to say thank you to the community at large for inviting me in and helping me grow in it, and let's make sure the next generation can too. That's it.
Hello everyone, so I'm Alessandro, here to present something about the full stack that we already know, so it's Rails. So a little bit about me, I'm Alessandro, I'm a senior Ruby on Rails developer at ShopFully, and this year I'm celebrating the 10th anniversary with Ruby, so it's, very good wedding. Thank you. So a little bit of history about web apps. So we had many years ago, static HTML, then something server-side scripting. Then we had server-side languages, ASP, .NET, JSP, PHP, and so on. Then in the modern years, we had the split stack, so front-end and the back-end talking each other by APIs. But nowadays, we have modern server-side rendering. We all know this, but we have in the majority of two-stack setups, we have a logical separation between the backend and the front-end. They are talking each other by APIs, and each project has its own pipelines. We have multiple languages, we have multiple teams, while on the other hand, in the full stack, we have a monolith, when sometimes it can be a bad thing, some other can be a good thing. We have a single language, we have a single team, unified pipeline, and APIs are used only when it is necessary. So we can leverage for full stack benefits. Ruby on Rails, the community, and all the people behind it is heading to a complete full stack experience. We saw it with version 6 and 7 when Hotwire came in and put a lot of funny stuff on the front-end side of things. Working on full stack is also faster because you don't need to create a pull request on the front end, then adapt the back end, then remove it from the front end, then remove it the old code from the back end. It is full pull requests, 4 pull requests to a single feature. We have good performance because we don't rely to client-side performance. We know that today our clients are very performant, but we are also need to ship it our website very faster and match accessibility that is Google, the Tailwind, Lighthouse, application to match the score. We will have also limited JavaScript usage. The Stimulus.js that is the standard for Rails is the tool that wants you to keep JavaScript the low as possible, and we do want to write Ruby, not JavaScript, right? Also, for the front-end side of things, we have ERB, we have Herb as a linter, and if we are more backend people, as I was since this project where I worked on, where we migrated the full application to a full stack, there is AI doing the job for you or helping you to do this. So in that project that I mentioned, we went further for that. We used the view components from GitHub to push more the full stack thing and having all the things inside Rails and written in proper Ruby classes. So we have a single component that has its own JavaScript controller, it has its own style, its own HTML template, and that is very encapsulated and very easy to manage. It is very easy to test, and it's like web components for it. What I hope for the future is that view component sort of things will be standardized into Rails, no more partial rendering from controller. Maybe an easier import map setup, because for this project where I worked on, we integrated Stimulus and also Tailwind to be sidecar files to the component, but doing some patches to the code. So having it very encapsulated and supported by the framework would be so good. That's it. Use it. Let server-side rendering rocks again. Thank you.
How to multi-thread your brain, kinda. So, if you're a bit like me, you don't like working on a single thing. You have many brilliant ideas, you start working on many projects, finish none, and then there's the one that's making money and you have to work on that, but you want to do the other thing, and that's been a real issue because I like coding. That's why I got into Ruby on Rails, because I wanted to start many things and finish none, basically. But I want to work on the one thing that it's not making money yet, hopefully. Probably some of you can relate to this. And currently I have two main projects. One is making money, Corsidia, enough to be a bronze sponsor here. The other one is making none. Thank you. The other one is making, thank you, none. But I really like it. I want to work with it. And I couldn't do it because I was always focused on one and I tried everything. Then AI came along, but didn't solve it because, now we don't have the beautiful flow anymore in our lives because we have to wait between prompts. So I figure maybe between prompts I can switch, but the switching cost was too high. And I really tried everything. I tried splitting morning and afternoons, weeks, months, 1 month on one project. The other day I had a call with a co-founder. I had the greatest idea, 1 season. I'm going to work winter on Corsidia, spring. Of course, it didn't work, of course. Then it hit me. What about a second screen, like discovering warm water or something like that? But really. But I didn't have a second screen. My wife had a second screen. And she doesn't like to lend me stuff for some reason. But good thing she wasn't working because she was busy vomiting all day because she's pregnant again. So, thank you. Oh, you didn't know it. Who cares? Come on. So I did what any sensible developer would have done in the situation. I took her screen. And her mouse pad. I always wanted it. So this seems minor, but believe me, it changed everything. I don't know exactly how or why, but it seems a little thing, but it feels like tapping into some ancient mental hack. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of the method of loci. It was used in ancient Greece and Rome because writing down things was expensive. They didn't have this, so they had to remember lots of things. And the basics, straight from Wikipedia, is a mnemonic technique that uses visual imagination and spatial memory, space and locations. So the act of switching physically from one screen and the other and keeping everything related to one project on one and everything related to the other project on the other one really solved it. It's been 11 days, but I can already tell that this is life-changing. This is before. I know commits is not the best KPI, but I have 5 minutes. We can get into the actual feature I develop later. So you can see when I stop working on something and switch to the other project, and then I go for 2 months in Japan because I was burned out. And this is after. So I was able, for the first time in my life, to work on both projects. And I was like, wait, this cannot be real. So I asked Claude. And I don't know if you noticed, but with the latest update, you're absolutely right, days are gone. He's going to push back. So he answered me, what's actually new? It's the only 11-day window clearing both sides. The closest analog, it's COVID. But in COVID, I had lower magnitude. So dual productive periods happened before, but this one is bigger and more balanced than any of them. And what Claude didn't know, that I did this while enduring my wife, constant complaining about vomiting and pregnancy. So it was even harder than COVID. So, point is, there's no escaping our wetware that was made for surviving in the African plains. So, but we can still hack it sometimes, like in Rubycon times. In conclusion, I hope this talk gonna help me explain to my wife why she's not getting her screen back. Thank you. I'm Duccio, by the way.
This talk is about how you can have your own gem named Rails, even though that name is already taken, or any other name that's already taken as well. It is about Gem Co-op, which is a community gem server run by the old Ruby Gems team. We have public governance documents that everyone can read about how we work and make decisions. And we have every gem that already exists. You can install it straight from Gem Co-op. It works with Bundler, it works with RV, and it has namespaces that you can have, where you can have gems named anything you want. Gem Co-op namespaces work like this. You go to beta.gem.coop, you fill out this little form with your name and the namespace that you want, and then in your gem file you say source gem.coop/your name, and that's where you can put gem Rails, and now it's your gem and not DHH's. Once you have signed up, you get a push key to release your gem in your email and a little command that you can copy and paste that will publish your gem to your namespace instead of to the rubygems.org default. And once you have done that, you can run a command that will use that gem. Here's an example of RVX using a gem from my Gem Co-op namespace that's just my CLI business card. Make your own gem named Rails, make your own gem named anything you want, even if it's already taken, and you and all of your friends can use it. I will now try to live demo this. Good luck to me. Great. Okay, so here is my namespace. Oh. I gotta push the button to change. Sorry, yes, thank you. I found it. Perfect, thank you. Mirror. Okay. I hope you can see it now. Great. So here's my namespace. Here's the page where you ask for a push key. I'm not going to push that because I'm afraid of the email taking too long to arrive, so I already did it. I'm going to copy the release command and go over to the terminal here, where I'm going to paste the release command, and oh, Rake is mad. No. I'm going to use the gem push command. Rake though. Package, Ruby. back to my namespace. Hey, look, there's a new gem just for this conference.
Asshole! You
Isn't
stole it.
And I think, maybe, if we're lucky, it will work. Let's find out. No, it didn't work. It was a nice idea. How would I do this? Bundle, init, bundle. Can I copy it from here? Yeah. Bundle, add, Rubycon IT. Hell yeah. It worked. Amazing.
Wow.
Okay, namespace is technically working. They're in beta. We're going to take them out of beta real soon now. But if you test them out and find bugs, we'll fix them. Thanks.
I will talk about only logs today. This is a project that we have at Renuo. The idea is very, very simple. You already have log files in your Rails application. You already have them. So for your very small project that you are just getting started, you probably don't really need any external service where to stream your logs. You can just use the log file that you already have. If you want to call it differently, you can think about it as solid logs. This is probably a term that everyone understands here. And here I made a very quick demo on how to set it up. You, of course, just invoke cloud and say install only logs. There is even a skill dedicated to just add this gem to your gem file. This I sped it up at 4x just to show you how you do it. I placed Blue Sky and Twitter on the side. Of course, Twitter is on the right and Blue Sky on the left. And here, after about 10 minutes, it added the gem successfully. And here it is, it works. After a couple of minutes more, it also mounts the engine. So you can now navigate into /onlylogs into your Rails app. Here I slow down again. And here are your logs. You can see your development.log file. Of course, this is hand in production. It comes with basic out by default. And here you see that when I change something, well, I messed up the zoom here, but when you navigate your website, you have logs, you can search, and you can use regular expressions. This is it. It seems simple, but this fit the requirements that we had for our applications. And our requirements are that we want to use regular expressions. The search doesn't actually need to be instant. It's okay to wait a few seconds. We want to store the logs in any format, so we don't want to follow a specific format for the log lines, and we want to store them for as long as we want. Why searching via regular expressions? Because you can do everything with regular expressions. They are cool. You can search for a certain request ID, and now you will magically have all the log lines of a certain request. You can search in a time range. You can even search for errors or exceptions or specific exception types. So you almost have an error monitoring system, maybe. You can even do analysis of performance if you want and see what is fast and what is slow. Well, this is the project. It's very simple. If you want to try it out, go on GitHub, give it a star. Thank you very much.
We are here to carve in the monolith, our monolith. We are an insurance broker company. We have a lot of people working with our web app, a lot of brokers are selling insurance in Italy. And not interesting, really, but it's fully realized in Ruby on Rails since 2010, I think. And we have a group of devs here, 9 people, working every day in Ruby on Rails, so we are very proud of it. And a lot of people, a lot of policies, a lot of policyholders here using our software every day. And let's talk about a little bit of tech. We have a great monolith into servers in production. We use MariaDB, we use Odoo for our money part. And gems, okay? We also use Savon for SOAP because we talk every day with the insurance company that in Italy are not so, 2006, so are in the 90s maybe. So we try to keep up and to use Ruby Rails in the better way every day. So this is the functional architecture of our software, which is such a mess. We have a lot of function, a lot of carrier that we speak every day, like companies, like banks, like Quattro Ruote, like something like that, like Nexi. And all this is in a monolith. So what you're working on in these months, in these weeks, this month, in these years, really, we'll try to building an API layer. We have to extend our little API layer to on top of our monolith. We try to continue to automate our process. There are a lot of processes in our company, and also we try to expanding our test coverage. So we tried. So if you want to try to carve the monolith with us, and you are interested, let's have a talk. That is it. Thank you.